What's up, travelers? Happy New Year! Wait, I'm recording this on a different day. Don't worry, I didn't just change my shirt and my hair. What's up, travelers? How's it going? Have I got a review for you? Today we're reviewing Cyborg Tinkerer by Megan Latour. If you're new to my channel, or if you're revisiting, you know how I do these reviews. I give you my pros, I give you my cons, and then I wrap up my final thoughts on the project. Let's just get into it, shall we? My first pro, the pacing. I don't know about you, but if I can sit down and read your book in one reading, pacing was... I did. I sat there in this corner on that beanbag chair and I read it in one sitting. Pro number two, I like that it's a sci-fi, but it's not your Star Trek sci-fi. It's not your Mass Effect sci-fi. Like, usually when you see sci-fi, you're thinking Treasure Planet. And that's also what I thought when I saw this. Because space pirate ship and it takes place in the future. Wouldn't you see some aliens? But you don't see aliens. I thought that was refreshing. It was all just good and wholesome cyborgs. Get it? Get it? It's okay if you don't get it. And finally, my other favorite thing about it is that, spoiler alert, it ends with a sex scene. There's this huge debate about putting sex in your books, and I'm totally on the side with I'm okay with it. Keep them coming. Does it add to the story? No. Do I enjoy it? Hell yes. It doesn't need to be necessary for it to be in there. There's plenty of unnecessary shit in books. Let me have my snooky time. Please. I needs it. I live vicariously through these characters. That was a little bit too personal. Now, the cons are probably extraordinarily subjective. I mean, my pros were subjective, but most people don't get upset by subjective pros. They only get upset by subjective cons. And here it is. Now, I'm not in the camp of saying this dialogue is unrealistic, because you need to understand the way people talk is different depending on where you live. How people converse is going to change depending on where you are, where you're from, and who you're talking to. I mean, just being black, you have to add in code switching. Personally, I've never code switched before, but that is a thing that some black communities deal with. So to sit there and say a specific way a person talks is unrealistic is not necessarily true. Can it sound awkward? Yes. Yes, it can. And there was plenty of dialogue in here that sounded awkward. It just didn't read right. And I'm not saying it didn't sound realistic. It just sounded like it didn't fit with the book. That's all I'm going to say on that. Second, again, this is about language. I'm not a prude. Not at all. And I'm not against vulgar language. But anytime they referenced a penis in this book, they used the word cock. Oh, you're mad that I don't want your cock. No, I don't mind having cock. I just don't want your cock. Oh, his cock is so hard for me. It got to a point where that word just looked extremely weird to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it made me feel. And it's the most vulgar choice for penis. You got dick, you got manhood. You could just say erection. Nope, straight up, just a cock-a-doodle-doo. Just, oh my God. It was weird. It got weird. I'm sorry. It did. Now, this last one isn't so much subjective, but may kind of be a misread on my part. But the character Aurora, she's black. And when she's described as light brown skin, but she's also described as dark brown skin. And that's kind of problematic. Hear me out. I know people, when it comes to race, they get extraordinarily uncomfortable. And if you're a writer watching this, it's just... you need to be aware of this. Don't be vague on your descriptions of brown characters, okay? A lot of people, when they want to add a brown character to their story, they're thinking my complexion, maybe Viola Davis's complexion. But then we get to the story and there's a potential for, hey, a movie. And everyone fan casts people like Zendaya and Amanda Summerlin. Oh my God, why am I messing up her name? But that's who they fan cast. And yes, we are all beautiful black women, but there's a very much colorism issue when it comes to that. In which case, the lighter skin you are, the better you are. Like, light-skinned brown women are the best black women to cast. And you see that a lot. Whenever you need a relatable, lovable, adorable black woman in your story, you make her light-skinned. You want people to fall in love with her. So the fact that this black character if she's even black. Like I said, it's not necessarily described that way. It's just her skin tone was described in 2 different shades. It just comes off that way. It just comes off problematic. I don't think that was the author's intentions. But hey, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So this is just something to be aware of. So if you're a writer reading this, it's completely okay to specifically state the skin tone. You do not have to dance around it. Do not make your black characters ambiguous. Don't do it. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I know people get upset when you say don't do something. Like, it's in your best interest not to make your black characters ambiguous. It teeters on a problematic line that you just don't want to dance with, okay? And again, this is no slight, I don't know, understand words. Not a drag for the author, because I loved the book. I thought it was a refreshing, my final thoughts is that it was a refreshing take on sci-fi. I, myself, am a sci-fi fantasy author, so I am looking for more sci-fi fantasies to get into, and this was a book that I really got into. Plus, it features a polyamorous relationship, and a future story of mine I want to introduce a polyamorous relationship, so I want to see it done, and I thought this was done very well. Even though I had some issues with the book, I will still rate this book as definitely worth picking up. Alright, that's all I have to say on the matter. Thank you for sticking around. I sure do appreciate it. If you like what you see and you want to keep seeing more, feel free to subscribe. I make new videos every Wednesday. And if you're nerdy like me and you play all the video games, you can catch me on Twitch. If you want to see me hyping up my favorite authors, you can follow me on Twitter. All those links are going to be in the description box down below. Later days. Cock!